Well, hello. Welcome back. We are going to dive into episode 2 of Game Dev Reacts, starting off with such an epic drop that happened minutes ago, which was the God of War Ragnarok trailer. I have been so excited about this game. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting to find out when we're going to get a trailer for it. Santa Monica Studios is an insanely talented team, but they keep very tight knit crew and don't let things out to us, which is a good thing. I actually prefer no spoilers. So, without further ado, let's jump into the trailer, and this is Game Dev Reacts to God of War. Oh. Okay. This is a disclaimer. I'm going to pause this trailer as we go through it. So if you just want to watch the full trailer, I'll have the link in the bio at the bottom. But this is going to be me discussing points of the trailer from a game dev perspective. And a little bit of story, just because I know the story pretty well, but largely game dev. First want to say, the fur in this game, and like the hair mechanics in this game, top notch. Already looks great. Fur on his jacket, that subtle little movement. Oh. Mwah. Animation in this studio is just, it's literally god level. That's where these guys sit.
The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok.
So Atreus is a little bit older from what we're gathering pretty quickly here. Doesn't look like it's a huge jump in time, but he is going to be, I think, a little bit older in this game, which is interesting. I actually thought he might be older than this.
My story doesn't end hiding in these woods. I should be out there. Finding...
That snow looks great. I'm actually really curious about the footprints in the snow. That's just like a weird thing. Snow looks great though. Yo, wait.
Be out there.
Watch this.
Finding out who I am, who Loki is.
Okay, that morph animation.
Will not allow you to pick a fight with God.
That's Freya. Okay. Okay. Holy shit, that was sick. Okay. Y'all do animations so well, Santa Monica. Like, give us a chance to keep up. Holy moly, that's cool. I remember I was working on morph animations like 2 years ago, and it's like super cool. It's kind of complex, but it's like super, super cool. And like, man, that was fluid though. Holy. This looks like a mixture of gameplay with cinematic cuts, I think is what we're largely seeing.
And if those answers lead to war with Asgard,
which is good. It's not really pre-renders. It's all just like in-game cinematics, it looks like. I kind of prefer that. Like, I know the purpose, and like obviously we do it in most of our games where you'll have like pre-renders of like essentially story aspects, but they're never actually in the game. I don't love that because it feels like a falsity to the player. It's one thing if it's like a pre-render and it has a specific purpose, but like when players get an idea in their head of what they think the game is going to look like and it's like a pre-render and they don't know that it's a pre-render, it kind of sets you up in a really difficult spot, and I'm glad they really aren't doing that with this trailer. Usually super early trailers, when the game's not even close to ready to being shown yet, you'll see a lot of just like pre-rendered trailers. So they can have a whole separate team that builds it out and they just have like a vision for it. But at this stage of the game, I'm glad. It's seeming like this game's getting pretty close to release, so it's probably largely just going to all be like in-game cuts and cinematics that we're seeing.
I recognize that dour expression anywhere.
Okay, dog sledding. This already looks so cool. The world. So this looks like the same world that we were in before, which is super cool. Looks like they've completely changed it though. So it's going to be kind of similar to what we saw with the last game, where it's like you could leave a world and come back, but they've changed things because you have new mechanics and new abilities. And things have been unlocked now, so you have access to areas you didn't have access to before. So it always made, that's the one thing I really loved about their games, is that it always made the levels feel really fresh. And so it kind of looks like a similar concept. We were using some of the same aspects of the world, which makes sense from a story perspective, for sure. I'm curious to see how much they reuse and how much is going to be like completely brand new to the player, but I'm not worried about it. I'm never worried with Santa Monica. Their games are always really top notch.
Odin's got tricks up his sleeve we haven't dared to consider.
What if there was someone who could help us?
you mean Tyr?
Oh my god, let's just cut to hold on that scene. Whoa. So yeah, that looks like very much the world that we were in before, but like obviously a much higher viewpoint on it. Little aspects of, I think, I might be wrong, but this looks quite similar to like aspects that we've seen, which I mean, it's honestly, being able to reuse certain aspects of, because if you're building on a series, being able to reuse aspects of that world saves you a lot of time versus having to rebuild everything from scratch every single time. I feel like that's probably a little bit of what we're going to see with this game. It's similar to what they're doing with Breath of the Wild, where they're reusing the similar world. I don't really think, as long as games really take advantage of like changing the space, but you know, holding the structure, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think you can do a lot with like what you've already created, because they already created an incredible game. And it's not to say that this is going to be a direct replica of the previous game, nor is the world going to be the same or the story going to be the same. It's just reusing certain assets you've already created in like art can really speed along the development process, which is kind of what I'm seeing a little bit of. Just like certain worlds that have been built, let's kind of take those worlds and flip them on their head and then add to the story that we're building.
War in these lands. Who is dead?
Oh, the bow mechanic's still in. I loved this part of the game.
Pretty keen on
The
seeing
story
what's
moments and
found.
stuff that you got.
If he's out there,
This world feels already so much fuller, and you can see that they are really utilizing the power of the PS5 here that the PS4 just didn't have. Like the amount of rendering that they are doing in any one shot, like you're seeing through these shots here. Well, not so much. But like all these little things that they're rendering in such high quality
we're
is
trying to stop Ragnarok.
would push the PS4 to its like aerospace limits, and so to speak, and you would be cooking a steak on the top of it. It would be so hot. So they really are definitely taking advantage of the power of the PS5. So it is totally possible, looking at this, that they might have had either just up-res the current assets they had or completely started from scratch, but with the same sort of base structure. But yeah, wow.
To help
This
people.
looks incredible, though.
And what if the only way to do that is war?
All the little details, too. There's definitely much finer details in this world than you saw with the first game. And that, again, just comes down to the power of the console that you're on now.
Is not the only way.
Stop thinking like a father for a moment and start thinking like a general.
You seem like a calm and reasonable person.
Their gameplay is always so polished and just so beyond smooth.
Are you a calm and reasonable person?
Hey, that's Thor, I'm pretty sure. So we're seeing some similar enemies that we saw in the first game. So there'll be some familiarity for the players. I think that's also true just for the story. But where I think we are going to see a lot of new enemies as well, from what I've seen already. Oh, man, the animations are freaking incredible.
Panic does nothing.
Also, their effects are really, really amazing. Like all of the little particle effects you see when his like axes hit things and like stuff like that. It's really nice.
Harness it. Let it serve you.
Oh.
Here.
Are you coming with us?
Ooh. Oh, this is Tyr. Yo, this looks insane. Yo, Santa Monica, y'all are
answers soon
killing it.
enough. Well, some of them.
New characters. I love new characters. I'm very happy now. I mean, there's so much cool stuff in that game, but I always love when I see new characters in trailers. It makes me really excited. Yo, okay, so let's hop back in over here 1 second. All right, so we just saw the most insane trailer from Santa Monica Studios. This is God of War Ragnarok gameplay trailers. So we're largely seeing gameplay moments. We're seeing some cinematic cuts. I don't really think there's really any pre-renders. I didn't really see anything, obviously, that was a pre-render. Their animations are looking really solid. Looks like we got some new features, some new enemies, which is going to be super cool. It looks like they're kind of reusing some aspects of the world that we've already seen, which is also super cool. All in all, I think they're really pushing the limits of what we know on the PS5 and the limitations that we've had with the PS4. It looks like the world is definitely a lot fuller than we were seeing, you know, in the past, but we also just have like a lot more to take in, and we're definitely going to get that with the PS5. I cannot wait to see this game on the PS5. Holy moly. I think these guys are going to be like the first kind of to market to see this because we've got Spider-Man coming, but that's 2023. I'm assuming this game's probably in the next year. So they'll probably be the first one that we'll really see utilize the power of the PS5. It also does look like, from what I have heard, this is going to be the finale to the Norris arc of this series. I'm kind of sad if this means the end of God of War, but I don't necessarily think that. I think by the wording of it, them saying Norris arc, it means that there's definitely potential for other arcs, which is super cool. I think this is an incredible series, and I would hate to see this series end, but I know that they would honor it regardless. These guys really, really love this game. But all in all, yeah, great game. I can't wait to play it. I thoroughly will be buying this, probably pre-ordering it. What do you guys think, though? You guys excited for this game? Was this trailer what you expected? More than you expected? What was your favorite game at the showcase? This definitely was mine, and I cannot wait to discuss more of these trailers with you. Thanks for tuning in. Drop a subscribe if you enjoy this content and let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks, guys.